You woke up this morning, it's a great day.
That was a good thing. Commissioners, good morning.
We are officially back in session and you're on.
Like you needed to tell him that.
Well, good morning. My name's Ron Burns. I'm from Corporate One Benefits. We're the county's consultant for their health care. And we'd like to talk about the renewal this morning and recommendations from the Health Insurance Committee. So with that, I'll just kind of turn it over quickly here to Stacy, who went to Columbus and picked up the renewal, or actually a month early, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Gives us a little bit more breathing room versus what we've had in the past is get this thing put together really quick and get open enrollment meetings. So we've got about a month, but we're in good shape, and I'll let Stacy go over what she found out down at SEPCO.
Okay. Yep, I went down a couple Fridays ago. Last Friday. Picked up the renewal. We had a very good renewal, at least compared to history anyway. We had a 2% increase for our rates, so I think that was rather good. They do have an adjusted rate due to the prescriptions. We do get rebates on some of the drugs that we get, which in essence took the increase down to a potential 1%. So we may not get those rebates again. We'll still get some rebates, but some drugs come in, some drugs drop off. But that helped lower the percentage of the value. So.
And the rebates go directly to SEPCO.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, they
Correct.
don't come to us. Yep.
Yeah, prior, when the county was partially self-funded, those rebates came to the county, but they go to SEPCO, then they pull them out.
So we got a health insurance advisory committee meeting around yesterday, and they had quite a good discussion on future rates, previous history on the rates, and they were anywhere between 0% and 2%, because 2% is our increase, and they are recommending a 1%. So I'll let Ron go over the numbers
Thank you.
with you on that.
There you go. We've got the sheets. These are summary sheets. Actually, Stacy does have the actual renewal from SEPCO. She picked that up. They faxed it to us, but she has the original. What I'd like to do this morning with the commissioners is, obviously what you see at the top right hand of this page is the recommended 1% increase from the Health Insurance Advisory Committee. On there, you're going to see your summaries of your current plan, and then to the right of that, you'll see the renewal plan, and you're going to see some numbers in red. And I will go through and explain to you what those are. The first one would be the deductible under the current high deductible health plan, or the HSA bylaw. That automatically changes January 1st from $2,500 to $2,600 deductible. Okay, so that's going to take place, as well as the family will go from $5,000 deductible to $5,200. That's not a county change, that's not a SEPCO change, that's a change that's required under the HSA legislation, that the deductibles change in 2015. So that took place. Also, the out-of-pocket, you'll see under the buy-up plan, went from $3,000 under the current to $3,750. That's in red. That was Affordable Health Care Act change. What now is allowed to go towards the out-of-pocket are your office visit copays. So for example, today if I go to the doctor and I have a $40 office visit copay, it's just out of pocket, out of my pocket, and I don't get to apply that towards my deductible and coinsurance. Effective January 1st, you'll be able to apply it now to your deductible and to your coinsurance. So it's kind of a benefit to the employee, it's a credit. Now what SEPCO did with their entire block, they instead of bumping the premium up, what they did is they increased the out-of-pocket up to the employee, so they didn't increase the premium on that plan. The same, if you take a look at the prescription out-of-pocket max before, all those co-pays that you paid for your prescription drugs, whether you're generic brand or non-brand, those were, again, were out-of-pockets that the employee usually paid, could pay up as much as $50 out of pocket, and they could not apply them towards the deductible. The new ACA law says those have to be applied to your out-of-pocket. So what they've done is they've given the county a separate out-of-pocket max. Once you hit $2,500 of out-of-pocket expenses on prescription drugs under the buy-up plan, then it's 100% coverage. So in essence, it's kind of a benefit. Those are benefits, but those are ACA or Affordable Health Care Plan required changes that all plans have to conform to effective January 1st. So those may not, some may be significant, others are not significant, but those are the required changes by the Affordable Health Care Act. As Stacy mentioned, we did meet yesterday for about an hour and a half. A fairly lengthy discussion. Commissioner Wagner was in that meeting. And again, it's centered around what we do with the increase. Anyway, he talked about anywhere from 0 to 2%, and the committee is making the recommendation to the commissioners to consider the 1% increase going forward. I will tell you that this year, our loss ratio for the county, and again, when we talk about premiums versus claims, the county's loss ratio was about 85%. If you took a look at what Zebco's loss ratio was, and you're part of that consortium, they were just almost 98%. So the county's experience has been running better than the pool. And again, when we come back and we take a look at the recommended rate increase coming out of it, there was, I mean, for the county, it was, again, it was a very, very good increase. I shouldn't say any increase is bad, but so, and again, next year, while we got a 1%, we're recommending 1% increase this year. Next year, Zebco come back and we could have horrible experience, and it could be a 15% increase. It's just the nature of the beast. So
Yeah.
we just want to make sure the commissioners are well aware of that going forward. A couple other things. The Health Insurance Committee did request the HSA contributions again, or as we're making that recommendation to the commissioners, that $250 that you put into their account on an annual basis on a single, and $500 for a family. They're asking the commissioners to reconsider that again this year, as I believe it's in the budget, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we'd ask for consideration there. Other items, we do have the open enrollment starts October 20th and the 22nd, and we're about 3 weeks ahead of schedule for that. That's a good thing. There'll be one big meeting, and then, as we'd mentioned the last time I was here, there'll be individual meetings. We've teamed up with a company, SES, that's going to provide individual meetings, and again, go through and explain the changes to the wellness. We do not know yet from Bob Anderson what those wellness changes are, what they're going to look like. So that team will understand what those are. We'll roll those out at the initial meeting, and then for any questions that the employees may have, that will be handled on a one-on-one basis at those meetings. So we're waiting to hear back from Bob on that. And other than that, I believe that shall do it. Anything, Jeff, from the meeting that you'd like to add?
Just really pleased that we received such a favorable increase from Zebco, 1%. As I look at this, that employee on the base plan, their premium will only go up about 50 cents a month.
Actually, it's 42 cents.
42 cents a month,
And
okay. The family
I got
plan
that
is
figured out,
less than
sorry.
$1, so
No.
I think that's,
Yeah, and if you're an individual under the PPO plan, it's 84 cents a pay. Families are $2.19 for the PPO plan and $1.08. The county's total expense, what they'll see in terms of increase, is about 18,500, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's what the county will expect in terms of the overall increase into the health insurance.
Is this figure here the cost of the,
That is the total cost of the plan, total
Total,
gross.
yeah.
Does not include any contributions So if you said, what's our total plan costing the county less, or gross, that is it, 2.4 million, 6 and change.
And as Mr. Burns said, it's driven by our claims history, so I think it's important we continue to support this wellness stuff. Even though we don't know
Without
how
question.
much of it's tied into that, but I remember when we were over 100% claim, history.
Yes.
110% or whatever it was. Just
Yes.
awful.
Yes. So, knock on wood, the county's plan has been running favorable in most cases, more favorable than the consortium itself. So that's a good thing, and you're gonna see it in your rates reflected there, so. Any questions? Yes, Julie?
Ron, that's based on 250 roughly employees?
Yes. Yes.
And I, just speaking for myself, I would support the HSA contributions again for the coming plan year.
I would as well. Well, we do all that in resolution when we set the,
Set the budgets.
set everything.
We do pass a
It's just all in-
resolution,
Okay.
authorizing it, and then we put it in the, it's already in the budget, but it'll be in the budget again for next year. We just do a resolution so they know that we're doing that next year. Because we'll have to set the rates and, all of that
And
information.
one of the reasons we're asking now, obviously, when they get ready to do the employee meetings that are coming up here, and we want to know that information so we can obviously communicate that to the employees as well, that the county is, the commissioners have supported that contribution again to their HSA, so it's a positive thing.
What does the school do? I know they're separate from us, but
The School of
Opportunity.
Opportunity, they have their own,
they have their own health plan. I know
The
they do
same
with their
company.
workers' comp, they're with us.
They're
but
with Anthem, but just not under our,
We don't know what they offer offhand.
So they do their own, I just curious.
Yeah, the only thing they don't do, and it's a good point, is we've had the discussion with them as well as on the voluntary benefits. When we talked about the Aflac products that we're going to do away with and go with Allstate.
Right.
That they are under the county's umbrella for that, so we've approached them, and Janet Vay's on board with it, and she is ready to go
Okay.
with their meetings as well for those employees on one-on-one. So that component is under the county, but they're separate in terms of their health insurance and who they deal with, and we've had that discussion. Good question.
okay. And if you guys are
Great.
okay with the
All is
renewal,
good.
I'll sign the renewal and let her get started. We'll
Yeah.
pass the resolution setting the rates once we find out the wellness discounts. Cause we need to have that in a resolution. If I remember correctly, we did that last year, setting
it's
the
an
rates.
attachment to the resolution.
Yep, setting the rates as they are, and then for wellness, people do what's authorized, so.
And even though we're gonna be under the now Sevco's endorsed wellness plan, which is, I mean, it's exciting that we were kinda ahead of that curve
Correct.
in implementing one, and it's whatever adjustments it will be. The employee who earns the savings for the following year are gonna be did that end up being pretty closely matched to how it's working in the first 2 years we've done it?
Yeah, they don't have all of the details worked out yet. That's what Bob's kind of waiting on. He doesn't have the final plan yet for what the wellness will be. That will be what, effective 16?
Yeah,
So,
They'll roll it out 15,
yeah,
and then.
for 16.
Yes.
Yeah, but we talked about to make sure that it did not end up, that we didn't go backwards with
Oh,
what
yeah,
an employee
yep.
was earning
yep.
if they were in the family plan
Yeah.
with or
Right.
without a spouse, okay.
Correct.
Our guidance to Bob was, with what I took from the meeting we had, because we had to make a decision that day, was we didn't want the employees affected. Let's keep it the way it was last year. So we did the 270 and the 700 for family.
Okay,
So that's
Yeah,
what.
that didn't change.
that did change, good,
Yep.
good, that's right. Well, I knew that was the goal, and to make sure that's where we ended up.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
great,
Any questions?
good info.
Thank you. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Long meeting yesterday, short one today.
Yep. Julie wanted a half-hour meeting yesterday. I said, yeah, no problem. An hour and a half later, you just never know.
I guess I could say, we really do appreciate the Health Insurance Advisory Committee
Yes.
coming in, and they work really hard debating that stuff and trying to make a good recommendation to us, and they represent the various areas, so they have to take it back to their people and
Yep.
sell it.
They do a very nice job. They do. Good group of ladies and couple gentlemen.
Appreciate their time.
Okay.
Great. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? No? No? All right, I guess
I move to adjourn.
I'll second the adjourn. So therefore, at
Wow, you guys
10:48, we
cut
stand
out.
adjourned.